So, in going back to watching over my footage, I realized I managed to record the entirety of the second half of this video without audio. The whole hour. It's just all that gold's gone. I managed to record the second half of this video again, and over those 30 minutes, it did not occur to me that I did not plug in my headset. I am going to need checklists. Okay, testing, 1, 2, 3, audio. Flicker. Fantastic. All right. I have two separate versions of the ending of this video that now exist. So what I am going to do is I am going to draw it a fourth time, and I'm going to explain everything that I learned in the first two attempts, and then I'm going to do the fourth attempt in a new way. So this video, which originally was just supposed to be one instance of a bouncing ball, is now going to be, as you will see, a bouncing ball, a falling piece of dough, a piece of jello, which I just did, and I am going to come up with something for the last one. Good, it's still bouncing, fantastic. Okay, so what I learned from the first time that I attempted to do the second half of this video was that with my timing charts, here I have frame 11 going to frame 21. But what I was struggling with was, as I scootle my way back, right, so frame 11, I thought that it had to be that the last frame of a frame segment wasn't supposed to be the first frame of the next one, right? So, hey, look, that's the random hearts from attempt, I think, 47 of trying to record this now. When I made this timing chart originally, I actually had, why am I pointing at the screen with the pencil? You can't see that. I originally had this, if I make it visible, if I make it visible, originally I had this one as 12, and the math wasn't working out. And what I realized was, oh, okay, the first frame from this segment, because it's the ball being squashed, obviously the next frame is the ball bouncing again. It's the last frame here, so therefore it's going to be the first frame for the next one. And the math actually ended up working out really well. So you can tell with these evenly spaced colored lines, dissecting all of this, that I'm able to have nice even halves going all the way throughout. The second thing that I learned was the timing of the ball bouncing, right? So if you have a ball bouncing in your head, you hear doop, 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 doop. It gets faster as it goes, but if you try to have it bouncing in the same amount of frames, but only covering half the distance, you get doop, 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 doop. I can't even do it wrong, right? Like, it's so ingrained in my head that that's just the natural way that something bounces, right? So I can't have it be 11 frames every single way. Am I gonna just have to record myself? Because I'm flailing this pencil around like Lord Voldemort over here, and none of you are getting anything out of it. Maybe if I'm going into these manic episodes of self-loathing because of how incompetent I am regarding technology, even though I spend all my time in front of a computer, maybe I should have a self-cam, so that way you can watch the slow deterioration of my mental state. You know what? I'll just aggressively swirl. That's what I'll do. I'll aggressively swirl. So what I realized was, if you watch this version of my bouncing ball here, this is 11 frames. But here, it's only going to be 9. And then it's going to be, I think, 7. Makes its way down. Right, there's its halfway point. And then when it hits here, it takes less frames to get to this point, and even fewer frames to get to the next point. That gives us that classic... I want to view it. Do it. Please, please. That classic. Doing. Oh, just got water on my eye. Oh, jeez. So I wanted to take a quick aside here while I was explaining the removal of frames with a graphic that I made while I was explaining the same idea in the footage that I wasn't recording audio for. But I really like the visual here, and I think it really helps. So if we imagine that we were doing this in the same way I did before, where I did 11 frames for each arc, the exact same number of frames for each arc the ball makes, despite the fact that it's getting closer to the ground, and then we realized we needed to remove frames from this in order to make the ball feel as though it was dropping at a quicker rate. So this graphic I made to show how I decided which frames to remove. See, if this is the arc that we're starting with, it's the longest, so we need to remove just a handful to make this arc shorter, and slightly more than the last one to make this one shorter. So I was trying to figure out which ones to remove, and I decided that these frames here are really jarring. It's a long distance, and if I removed them on the side, then that would make the ball look as though it was teleporting, just right? So, on the other hand, the frames that are right next to the ball at its peak are actually have the shortest distance traveled, which means they're going to have the least visual impact because they're going to look the most similar to each other. So I just cut out 1 and 2, and then I cut out 1, 2, 3, 4, because these two were the most similar. So it ended up with just this handful left over and this slightly larger handful left over. And it ended up giving us exactly the effect that we were looking for. Caught a lucky break on that one. So that was the first attempt at doing the second half of this video. The second attempt at doing the second half of this video, and I can also make it visible because that would help. I start at the top of the arc. Boink. Great. Gets to this halfway point. Boink. Gets to the next halfway point. And then when it boinks again, it doesn't really have anywhere else to go. So I thought, oh, well, what if, like, I made the ball out of jello or something? So I copy and pasted it, and gave it this, like, wiggle. Wow. 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 So we went from bouncing ball in place to actual new bouncing ball in place. I want to make a new layer. No, that's a bone. Make a new drawing, which is going to be actual ball bouncing audio tech is difficult. Now, the question is, what do we want the ball to do? Oh, you ever had a ball bouncing and you have your hand over it? And as you lower your hand so it bounces off of your hand at the top and ends up pushing it and it starts bouncing really rapidly between the two? Let's do that. The halfway mark is here. If it's going to travel through here, it travels through this arc, right? So all of its momentum would then carry through something that was here, meaning that same amount of momentum going up would then propel it back down. Since the halfway point would put the ball all the way up here, that means that in the next frame, it would immediately smash right in. Oh, that's interesting. It's at an angle. But it's not at an angle. I'm just dumb. If it was an angle, I could have it like brick breaker across. Now, the first one's going to be really hard and then back down because gravity. But then this next one will actually be, because it slows down, it loses momentum. Halfway point, just a frame to slow it down a little bit. Yeah, when you copy frames, anything that you do in the first frame is going to be copied over to the second frame. But that's not true if you copy a vector within the frame and then copy that to a separate frame, then that doesn't copy everything. So it's kind of like a double standard of copying. So it hits, smacks in, smacks down because of gravity, goes up a little bit slower. Let's see how that plays out. It does exactly what I was hoping it would. But what if I then remove the plank and it continues its arc? It's already lost momentum, so that means it wouldn't arc as high. So instead of arcing to the halfway point between this, it would actually arc to like a 1/3 point. So let's try that. So let's see what looks more natural. Coming up to the halfway point or coming up to 2/3 point? 1/3 point. In order to deduce this, we need to make a timeline because we're now making another arc, right? Right? That's how that works. So what I want to do then is I want to have my halfway point be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 1 is 13. Oh, I goofed. 1 is actually 17. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, frame 25. Fantastic. I wonder why that didn't work. I think maybe I just lost track of it. I feel like I'm losing track of a lot of things right now. So 21 is our halfway point. Then I'm going to take it and put it on the right layer. And then from here, I do my onion skinning. Oh yeah, so one thing that I picked up when I was doing this was that when using the copy and paste to try to get the squash and stretch, you can actually follow, I'm noticing that you can follow these lines, right? If you don't have this cone shape, it means that your squash and stretch isn't believable. That's what I'm noticing. And obviously you can tell that my final product is therefore not large enough to make sense, making that more believable. It took me, to be totally honest, it took me all 3 or 4 of my tries recording this to finally figure that out because it was starting to feel really fucking wonky. I'll then go through the lovely experience of copy pasting. Hit the tunes, daddy-o. And now I don't actually want to, another thing that I picked up is that because I have less momentum coming down this time than I did the last time, it doesn't just want to squash nearly as much. And you know what? I'm going to end with Jello this time. We're going to combine everything. We're just going to go full Monty at this point. I have drawn so many bouncing balls in the 2 days that it has taken me just to make this one video. We're going to have some fun. So now, with my totally original ending, let's see what we got. I don't understand. I'm going to copy these frames. Right? I just want to copy these frames. C. No. Copy. Nope. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I can't do this anymore. Okay. From the top, we got this. Boy, I don't want to know my history at this point. All right, so we are going to not copy, apparently. That is not going to happen. We are not going to copy. This, it's not real. This is a lie. This is a myth. Okay, this looks great. That looks great. Okay. So then this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Do we want to do 7? So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Dear whatever eldritch gods are listening to me now, please, just let Control-Z, Control-V do its fucking job. Control-Z. What the shit? What the fuck? What did you do? Oh god. Oh god. I can't do it. What is that? Where did that come from? Okay, it's gone. It's gone. No more Control C, Control V. No more. So. I'm gonna visualize this so that way I can use it. I'm just gonna be on the right frame, be on the right layer. For the first time in the entirety making of this video, I'm gonna be on the right frame, the right layer, and doing my timing chart. 25, 26, 28, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. 31 is what I end on. 31 is going to be my final. I'm not going to copy paste unless I bring back the ancient ones. I know that this one needs to be flatter, slightly less stout. Got squish, got squish, and then the mini squish. Come on, mini squish. And then I'm going to jello this. No copy paste. I got the memo. Alright, I'm gonna try copy paste again. Hey! They must have flown by. The ancient horrors went past the cosmic world of Earth, fucked with literally everything, and then made their way off. We thank them for their travels, and kindly wish them farewell somewhere else. And now, after all the trials and tribulations, let's see what our fourth bouncing ball looks like. You know, now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, when it does this, it actually feels like with that extra, like this bouncing in between actually seems to work, but it feels like it should go higher. I thought it would be losing energy, but it just feels like it should go higher. You know what? I'm going to leave this one as a recap. Here's everything that I was able to accomplish. We started off with a ball that decided that it was dope. Because this is art, we can do whatever the hell we want. Then we decided to do our homework properly and complete the bouncing ball project with good timing arcs and good number of frames. And we start spazzing out with all of these timelines everywhere that I've completely lost track of what layers I've put any of my timing charts on, so I'm just going to act like they're not there. After that, I realized I have no idea what I'm doing. So I did it all again. And this time, I did it with style. I managed to fuck up my audio for the second time. But while we were in the middle of a silent film, I learned how to make jello. Look at that little squishy. It's a little squishy. And it vibrates. And then I realized I fucked up again. We did it again. And I learned a little bit about physics. This feels like it needs more work. So, without further ado, please, let me be released from this mortal coil. Gods of the balls, spare me. So after a good night's sleep, I am in a much better mood. Let's see if we can't finish off where we left off. Finish up where we left off. Finish on where we left. Right. We had an issue with the bouncing ball. When I had it bouncing off of here, I felt like it needed to go higher. Let's do that real quick. Now you'll notice that I deleted all of the other frames because, well, I guess I could have actually moved all of them one by one. Maybe I'll just go back and do that. Alright, let's see how that works with just shifting all of the frames. Oh, that already looks so much better. Alright, now I just want to add in one frame on either side, because what I'm looking at here is the bounce that hops it doesn't feel like it's a bounce. It feels like it's actually just kind of, you're doing a quick hop, like it's being pushed up from underneath, but then pulled down by more gravity. And it just doesn't have the same flow as all of the others do. That same lingering in the air for a realistic feel. All right, and then with that, let's see if it hangs a bit more. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. All right, guys, let this be a lesson. If it's not working out the first time around, if you're getting really frustrated, just leave and come back. Honestly, it's fine to do that. There is no timeline for this whatsoever. I mean, I have like a timeline-ish because I want to release videos, but when you're actually making art, there's no timeline to work with. Take a step back, take a breather, throw some shit around, punch a punching bag, sleep on it, come back, and approach it. Because what was really frustrating and something I didn't want to do last night just took me like 20 seconds. And so we finish our first lesson. If you'd like to see the balls hit the walls, smash that subscribe button. If this caught your eye, let me know with a like and even a bell. If you felt inspired, don't forget to send your take on this exercise to crowgetslearned@gmail.com. Finally, this week's honorable mention is Taniko Pintoa, the animator that springboarded my passion in animation.